Hi guys, I hope you can hear me and see me live now. And I've started my streaming, and we are looking at the next session. This is session 5 of our Learning to Learn course. And I hope you guys are having a great time and getting a perspective that I'm quite sure you didn't have an idea of one can talk about or one can think about these things also, because the normal situation or the normal advisory available is very sparse. While everybody talks about learning, लेकिन structured advisory बहुत sparse है उसका. And I hope you guys realize that. And yeah, good evening Abhinay and good evening Sheikh. And I hope you guys are this thing tuned in completely for what we are doing today. And my next discussion today, if you remember, last class I had left you on belief access. I had left you on belief access completely. And yeah, good evening everyone. So and we had talked about the fact that that you're learning one of the dimensions. This is not the only dimension. I'll show you more dimensions of what to learn. I'll show you more dimensions of that as we keep moving. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about was specifically about the fact that this is one of the critical dimensions on which you can actually identify the what to learn. And as I have always repeatedly tell you, and I can completely repeatedly tell you, that the top guys don't think in terms of big chunks about what they need to learn. They are they are very clear about the fine tunings that they need to do. A big chunk learning to one is able to identify. I want to learn a guitar. I want to learn to drive a car. ये सब big chunk learning से तुम identify कर लेते हो. लेकिन जो small chunks जो gaps में learning होता है, life is lived there, and success or failure is achieved through that only. So today I want to go ahead with that angle and discuss with you the process or of how you can actually find your limiting beliefs. And this is basically the first dimension of what to learn. The discovery of the what to learn. Its first dimension is your limiting beliefs, because limiting beliefs are one of the most damaging things in life. And as I was giving you this example, that if somebody is preparing for an aptitude exam like CAT, and he or she is picking up a challenge to compete against the top guys in an exam, in a competitive exam like CAT, or even in a banking or any competitive exam, and in his mind he has a strong restrictive belief which says that I cannot learn. I cannot learn. If this is the restrictive belief that someone has, and he is trying to compete against or is trying to take his academics up to the next level, things are simply not going to work. And how important beliefs are and how critical limiting beliefs are, you can play it out in a jiffy. You try to play any game, and in any game, before you hit a shot, you tell yourself कि ये नहीं जाने वाला और I am going to not be successful. Take a simple game of carom. Everybody's played carom. So on a carom board, take a simple shot. Take a straight simple shot onto the corner where you have your striker here, and you have to put this into this pocket, and you are taking a straight shot. But before you're hitting the shot, uh, yeah, Manjuna, this is the fifth session of the Learning to Learn. You'll have to look. You can watch the first four, but now that you're here, you can continue the session, because you will find something new happening every day. So you try to take this situation where you take a striker, let's say a pawn in this thing and try to put it straight into this. But before, the critical thing is before you hit the shot, you tell to yourself, you speak to yourself and you say that this isn't going. ये नहीं जाएगा. Tell yourself this isn't going. And then you try it. So have you tried that? I'm quite sure you would realize that if you have this kind of a mindset and you create this belief or this chatter in your mind, so a shot which will now normally be 99 out of 100 for you would not go this single time. And belief is the single most important thing that you need to hang on to whenever you're picking up challenges, especially. So the identification, as logic would point out, the development of any angle for yourself, the development of any belief for yourself, the development of any dimension of your own personality starts always from an audit of who you are. And unfortunately, we don't have any models available to us in our general education about what should be my audit area. How should I audit myself? What should I audit myself on? ये मिलता ही नहीं हम लोगों को कहीं से. And this is where, as I said, I pride myself on this program and this course that I'll give you very, very concrete dimensions, very, very concrete things. So today, as I promised you yesterday, I'm going to show you certain lists of limiting beliefs that you should try to look at. And each belief, I mean, of course, once you identify that on a belief from a +1, and please remember, all belief statements always start with the terminology I cannot or I can. Every belief statement is a statement which says I cannot or I can. And whenever you pick up any belief and you try to look at the audit of that belief, you need to work out which side of that belief are you. Are you neutral completely? You have no idea about it, whether you can do it or not, or you have gone towards the positive, or you have moved towards the negative through your initial experiences. And as I said, as I continuously tell you, and as I said in yesterday's session also, the decisions about what you want to have with what beliefs, those decisions were taken very early in your childhood. Those decisions were taken by you very early in your childhood. Perhaps in your first 5, 7, 8 years of your life, you took those decisions of how you wanted or how you rolled out which belief in which direction. And then the tragedy that lives is that you allow these I cannots to restrict your achievement, because whenever you try to break out, your I cannot will not allow it to do it for you. So once we do this audit and once you have these dimensions, and I mean these are such things that nobody can give you कि यही dimensions हैं, इसमें बहुत सारे dimensions होंगे, hundreds and thousands of things you can look at, and that you can only find out by doing your internal chatter with yourself. Your internal dialogue with yourself will keep giving you this. But what I'm doing in this session is I'm pointing you towards that. I'm pointing you towards that direction by showing you by spoon feeding you or giving you certain aspects of what you should look at when you are looking at your belief systems. So here goes. So my advice to everybody, the first three, this would fit into any person's situation. If somebody has a belief, system, hi Akshay, welcome to the session. So if somebody has a belief system which says that I cannot work hard, so he or she is going to be compromised everywhere he or she goes in life. and if you have made this your belief system, that I cannot work hard, I cannot focus. I mean, I cannot work hard can have multiple sub dimensions. I cannot focus, I cannot take physical pain, pressure, I cannot compete with the best of my generation. This is a different one, of course, the third one. So I would like you to make notes, and this is an introspection based course. So you will have to start introspecting in which one are you, in which dimension. Are you towards the plus? So if you have an I can, so some of us have awoken on the right side of life, and you have this mental dimension कि I can work hard. So then maybe even in the -1 to +1 journey, once you start going above the zero, how much towards +1 can you push it is again an angle of what you need to do your beliefs. So when you are trying to change your beliefs, and when you're trying to identify what beliefs you want to change, it's not only the -1s that you change. You also change the 0.2s and the 0.3s. So taking a belief like I can work hard, these are all dimensions of what you need to learn. Please remember where we are in the course. We are in a very structured program in this sessions that I'm taking, and the structure basically I'm talking about. I've talked about in the past few sessions about why learning is important. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, and this is something that I've seen over my last 25 years of training people, that I have always seen that people are not. We are not taught how to learn, and this is the only thing you need to teach a school kid. कि बेटा सीखना कैसे है तुमको? How do you learn in life? Because once you can teach someone how to learn, and once you can enable his learning, which unfortunately our schooling and college systems do not do, they actually systematically break down our learning capacities. And once you identify that part, कि okay, and this whole course is about that. So what we have talked about in the past is, one, we have talked about the fact that we are looking at why learning is important. A life without learning in the next level as an adult. We talked about learning vacuums that people hit, and not just hit, but they live in their whole lives on learning vacuums. And then we talked about the fact that the biggest problem, we talked about the model of learning, where you move from being an unconscious, incompetent person to somebody who's a genius at an activity, and that journey is 10 years. And we talked about that, and then we started focusing on the first step of that journey. That the first step of the journey is perhaps the most difficult, and the most difficult to achieve and to identify, and that is the what to learn. Because in the adult context, finding out what to learn is one of the most difficult things to do, and that's something we have a problem. Each one of us has a problem with, because it's not openly visible. So, and this is the first dimension of that. So let's be very clear about where we are in that course. So as I said, when you pick up a belief like I can work hard, and suppose you have this belief, but it is not at the +1, it is a 0.2, 0.3, and can you push it all the way? Can you push it to something like, I have an extreme capacity और beliefs change होते हैं. Please be very clear about this. और beliefs कैसे change होते हैं उसके बारे में मैं next बात करूँगा. But if I pick up this angle, I have an extreme capacity to work hard. This is the difference between a belief. This is a belief. I cannot work hard is a limiting belief. It's a negative belief. The belief becomes positive when you make it, I can work hard. And it becomes an extreme belief and an extreme enabling logic for you when you can push it all the way to I have an extreme capacity to work hard. A lot of ways people ask me this question. This question, very often people ask me this question कि IM में क्या सीखे थे हम लोग? So I can tell you one very small, and very small in this context. If I analyze it from my perspective now, when me as Arun Sharma entered IIM Bangalore at the age of 21, I knew that I had a suspicion that I could work hard. For example, the working hard angle I'm telling you. So I had the suspicion that I could work hard. But when I reached IIM and they threw me at the deep end, and not just me, the whole batch, they kept throwing at the deep end every second week कि अब अगले 20 घंटा काम नहीं करोगे एक साथ तो नहीं होने वाला है काम, तुम्हारा सबमिशन नहीं होगा, तुम फेल कर जाओगे, you'll be thrown out of the institute. When you started experiencing that, then you were forced to break whatever barriers you had created. So if somebody had a barrier that I cannot work for 2 days consecutively for 20 hours per day, the IIM showed it to us that it can be broken. And once you realize that ये तो हो गया and मैंने कर लिया इस चीज को, so what happened was you shifted your thought. You had that basic belief that I can work hard, but you changed it to I have an extreme capacity to work hard, and you moved it to that. And when you moved it to that, you were in the phase of supreme extreme belief. Or we also yesterday I used the term difference between overconfidence and supreme belief. The supreme belief is where you reached, and there's a thin line between supreme belief and overconfidence, and we need to be very careful about it. Overconfidence happens when you allow emotions to interfere in your skill and your execution. Supreme belief is where you are supremely sure that this is an activity or this is an act that I am sure of being able to do. And then when you do it, you don't allow emotions to come into the picture, and you make sure that you do it well. And a great example of a person who does not allow emotions to hinder inside him is a great ex-cricket captain MS Dhoni. You watch his first reaction to India winning the 2007 World Cup, and you watch his first reaction to India winning the 2011 World Cup. 2000 in both these frames, he was in the vision of the camera because he was the wicket keeper in 2007 when the last Pakistan batsman got caught out the T20 World Cup. And do you want me to write larger, Janvi? So the 2007 World Cup, and 2011, of course, he was batting. So look at MS Dhoni in 2007. The whole world is going crazy. Everybody is jumping for joy. All the players, everybody is jumping for joy. What does MS Dhoni do? He walks up. If you look at MS Dhoni's face, whether you look at the 2007 World Cup triumph or the 2011 World Cup triumph where he was in the center and he hit that six, everybody is jumping in the joy. The whole country is going berserk. What does MS Dhoni do? He puts the bat under his arm and walks off as if nothing has happened. So that is a supreme example of how people at the top and how great people are able to differentiate between or be able to cut off the emotions from the action. And the moment you start allowing your emotions to interfere with the actions, you start creating what is called as interference, and that interference is where your belief starts becoming negative in the context of it becoming overconfidence. So these are things that you need to start looking at. So I cannot work hard. How long can you live with this? If you have this belief, or even if you have this belief in the context of beliefs being -1 to +1, let's say you have a positive belief for I cannot work hard. You have a positive belief for I cannot work hard, but it's only at a point 2. You'll be outclassed every time you face somebody at 1. You'll be outclassed every time you face somebody with a skill level of 1 on that belief, and hence you cannot compete with that person. So when you go for a job interview, when you go for your IIM interviews, wherever there's going to be competition, you're going to be facing this problem. The problem is not only at -1 पे तो बहुत major problem है. ये तो तुमको जीने नहीं देगा, तुमको डुबा देगा. But the problem is also at a 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. And there's always something you can do about taking a belief up. So when you're doing an audit, you just don't just do the audits of the I cannot. यहाँ पे इस slide में मैंने सिर्फ I cannot लिखा है. लेकिन you just don't do an audit of only the I cannots. You also do an audit of your I cans which are not there at the top. Right? So let's quickly run through this. I'm going to take a shorter session today, maybe just 20-25 minutes. So 8:30 I'll wind up. So let's take a shorter. Let's take a this thing. So examples, as Vivek is asking me, examples क्या working hard में क्या example मैं तुमको दूँ? Do you have the capacity to actually stretch your this thing? And this working hard is closely connected to can you take physical pain pressure? Suppose you are told कि next 6 days you're not going to sleep. And not just not sleep, you can't just sit idle. You have to do some mentally important activity. Suppose तुमको ये बोल दिया गया, तुमने ये कैपेसिटी कभी अपना एक्सप्लोर किया नहीं है. You never explored this capacity, so you don't know whether it can happen or not. But what about the army commandos? उनके लिए तो नॉर्मल बात है. I had a very good friend of mine, one of the few people I admire. I admire very few people in life, but this guy I admire a lot, and he's a nondescript example that I tell you. And this guy was a colonel in the army, and he was in a commando, and he was a commando trainer. And I met him when he came to my institute. I was at Patna at that time, and he came to my institute. Colonel Jain was his name. At that time he was around 75 years old, around 15-20 years ago. I lost touch with him. I hope that he's still alive and doing well. But I have not seen a fitter 75-year-old person. Plain and simple. And he told me something which has always stuck to my mind. He told me something which has always stuck to my mind. And he said, ये बहुत मुझे बहुत hit किया a lot. Some things, some statements, some things hit you a lot, and this hit me a lot when he told me this. ARUN, and of course I was just starting off my own training career. I was maybe 5 years into my training experiences, and he said, ARUN, in the army, in the commando training, we tell ourselves, and we are very sure of this, कि हम लोग जब ट्रेन करते हैं तो किसी बंदे को अगर तुमको ये ट्रेन करना है कि सीने पे गोली कैसे खाया जाए, हाउ डू यू टेक अ बुलेट ऑन योर चेस्ट, एंड इन द कमांडो ट्रेनिंग वी हैव टू ट्रेन देम दैट. So we are very clear about this, that we cannot train his body. You cannot train anybody's body to take a bullet on the chest. You train his mind. So it impacted me so much, that statement, and obviously it was corroborating with what I was doing in my own small ways, in my own experiences as a trainer. So have you tested these angles? You have it inside you, but have you tested it? Now imagine somebody who, of course, as I told you yesterday, that the beliefs you want to pick up, it'll be sequential. And what I'm talking about beliefs here is not something which you do for 2 months and then forget it. This is something which is lifelong. These axes are things which will give you lifelong learning opportunities. 40 years from now, you might be the CEO of some company, retired CEO of some company, and you might pick up कि okay, चलो इस axis को अब change करते हैं, इस axis में अपने belief को change करते हैं. This is going to be the next 50 years of your life. If you want to live, it's a way of life. It's your next 50 years of your life. And you will see this continuously happening all over the place. So I remember, and some of you know this, that I'm a big tennis buff, and I have followed the careers of these three great guys very, very closely. So I talk about this example that if you look at the Rafael Nadal versus not Federer, but if you look at the Nadal versus Djokovic uh, rivalry, so in that rivalry, initially, I mean, Nadal, of course, initially the Federer Nadal rivalry started. And for around 5 years, from 2005 to 2010, it was just a two cornered fight. Federer जीतेगा कि Nadal जीतेगा the tournament. That was it. But then Djokovic made it a triangle. And when Djokovic started coming in, now Nadal had a very strong hold over Federer for almost 5-7 years of his career. Federer broke it, but that's another story. Towards the last 3 years, Federer broke it as a 35, 36-year-old person, and which is why he's great. But coming back to this story, there was a time, I think 2011, 12, 13, 14, where Djokovic started completely dominating Nadal. And for 5-6 consecutive matches, you look at the head-to-head record, 5-6-7 consecutive matches, Djokovic was beating Nadal on all surfaces. Clay court, grass court, hard court, every surface he was beating him. And then, I don't remember the year, but in one of the Australian Open finals that they played, and after a year in which Nadal had lost to Djokovic 4-5 times, in one of these Australian Open finals that they played, Nadal lost to Djokovic in 4 sets. He lost to Djokovic in 4 sets. That means Djokovic won 3 sets and Nadal won 1 set. And after that match, if you read and I keep looking for these gems around me. And after this match, when Nadal was talked to about his career, etc., he talks about this match being a turning point in his life against Djokovic, because he says that when I won that 1 set against Djokovic, it showed me that I can beat this guy. And you'll realize this, that the top guys hang on to, they will not look at the evidence that is showing them that they're losing. They'll look at this evidence and they'll hang on to this evidence. So anyway, belief change के बारे में तो मैं बात करने वाला हूँ तुम लोग से आगे. अभी के लिए let's just go through this list. ये पहला 3 मैंने करीब 25, 30, 40 बिलीव्स डाले हैं. इनको हम लोग क्विकली चले जाते हैं. इसके ऊपर कोई क्वेश्चंस अगर तुम लोगों को होगा तो I'll take those questions at the start of tomorrow's session. As you know, I'm live every day somewhere between 7:30 to 8:30. So we'll keep taking this thing. How much mental pressure? I cannot take mental pressure. I cannot perform under pressure. अब ये belief, I cannot perform under pressure. How are you with this? Audit yourself. If you have a problem there, and if you are below 0 on the performance under pressure, it means that every time you're going to face some important situation in your life, you're going to underperform. And you might be prepared. So you're going for a competitive exam, you're going for an interview, you're going for a board exams, you're going to face the need to perform under pressure. And when you face that need to perform under pressure and you can't handle pressure, this is something, and because you have that belief and you have experienced it a few times and you had that belief that I cannot perform under pressure, तो ये तुमको हमेशा every step of your life तुमको hurt करेगा. This will hurt you every step of it. जहाँ जाओगे वहाँ hurt करेगा. Because जिस दिन तुम्हारे performance से तुम्हारा life affect होने वाला है, an interview, a competitive exam, a critical presentation in your job, a critical execution of a project in your job, any day when your life is going to get affected, that day will come by your performance. That day will not come without pressure. और performance under pressure अगर तुम नहीं change कर सकते हो from being negative to positive और तुम्हारा ज़िंदगी भर यही रहने वाला है, तो तुम अपने skill level से हमेशा नीचे perform करोगे. Because जब भी pressure आएगा तुम्हारा performance dip करेगा, और performance dip करेगा तो तुम अपने जो skill अपना बनाए हो उसका outcomes तुमको अपने life में नहीं मिलने वाला है. So these are the 4th and 5th dimensions. I'm giving you the belief axis that you need to look at. Then this is the belief axis around speaking. This next one is the belief axis around speaking. What is your which ones of these? These are all dimensions I need you to this as I'm repeatedly telling you. These are all these are uh, all belief axis on which you need to evaluate yourself कि तुम कहाँ हो और कहाँ head कर रहे हो. So I cannot speak to higher authority. अगर ये belief के साथ तुम job में जाओगे, you'll never be able to impress your boss or your boss's boss. So if you're going to live with this belief in your life, which 99% people by the world have in the world, 99% people have in the world this belief. I cannot speak to higher authority. और ये belief के साथ तुम अगर अपने job में जाओगे तो और तुमको एक opportunity मिलेगा where a global CEO is coming, the global CEO is coming and you have a 5-minute presentation to make in front of him. तो your belief, your logic will just be कि मेरे को अपनी नौकरी बचा लेनी है. Somebody else might pick up a logic कि मैं इसको impress कर लेता हूँ. ये 5 मिनट में इसको इतना इम्प्रेस कर देता हूँ कि ये जब इंडिया से वापस जाएगा तो इसको मेरा याद आना चाहिए कि इंडिया में ये बंदा मेरे कंपनी में काम करता है. बिकॉज इन कॉर्पोरेट्स इन प्राइवेट सेक्टर व्हाट विल हैपन, पीपल एट द टॉप उनका एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होता है कि नीचे वाले लोगों से लीडर्स को आइडेंटिफाई करके पुल करें. तो ऐसे अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलने वाले हैं तुमको तुम्हारे लाइफ में, तुम्हारे वर्क लाइफ में. लॉट ऑफ यू आर वर्किंग एंड यू नो दिस काइंड ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज कीप कमिंग. और तुम्हारे दिमाग में अगर ये बिलीव बैठा हुआ है बचपन से, आई कैनॉट स्पीक टू हायर अथॉरिटी, बिकॉज जब भी प्रिंसिपल से मिलने जाते थे, जब भी क्लास टीचर से मिलने जाते थे, जब भी स्टाफ रूम में जाते थे स्कूल में, तो दिल की धड़कन बढ़ जाती थी. होता था, राइट? और ये तुम्हारा अगर बिलीव बैठा हुआ है तुम्हारे हेड में, तो ये तुमको हर सिचुएशन में अंडर परफॉर्म कराएगा. I cannot speak in public. You want to be a public speaker. If your life is, if it's, I mean, again, this belief, I cannot speak in public, for example. If your life is not going to have anything to do with public speaking, you can live with this perfectly. But अगर public speaking life होने वाला है, तुमको day to day and day out people को motivate करना है, लोगों से बात करना, और ये belief तुम्हारे head के अंदर है, तो you need to change it. तो डिफाइन योर बिलीफ डायमेंशंस और 2-3 बिलीफ्स पे काम करना स्टार्ट करना. कैसे करना है मैं बताऊंगा तुम लोग को. हाउ डज बिलीफ चेंज? लर्निंग एंड मेंटल एक्टिविटी, नेक्स्ट क्लस्टर. ठीक है? तो ये यू हैव टू गेट मोर कंफर्टेबल विद इट. आई मीन इफ यू स्पेसिफिकली व्हेन आई टॉक अबाउट हाउ टू चेंज बिलीफ, तो उसमें वो सब आंसर्स आ जाएंगे कृष्णा. बट लर्निंग एंड मेंटल एक्टिविटी, आई एम नॉट अ गुड लर्नर. हाउ मच कैन यू लास्ट इन लाइफ? हाउ फार कैन यू टेक योरसेल्फ in life if you have this belief embedded? And the opposite supreme belief in this context is I have an extreme capacity to learn anything. I have an extreme capacity to learn anything. So beach mein I was giving this example to my son the other day that मेरे दिमाग में ये belief इतना strong है और इतना सुप्रीम है ये चीज़ कि बीच में मैं सोच रहा था कि मैं अब चेस खेलना स्टार्ट कर दूँ. एंड आई एम 17-1800 प्लेयर बाय द वे ऑन chess.com. एंड आई थॉट कि मे बी आई शुड स्टार्ट ट्राइंग टू बिकम अ ग्रैंड मास्टर एट दिस एज. we will talk about those this thing. Overthinking, देखो, once we talk about it, execution point पे action पे आता है. So if you develop a bias for action, Akshita, you will overcome that capacity of overthinking. So I have an extreme capacity to learn anything. This is the opposite. And you will see people who are academically good are very, very strong at this. They have a very strong belief around this. And people who are academically poor and this thing, they have this belief on the other side. I cannot learn well, right? I cannot concentrate. I cannot learn a specific subject. A lot of people have learning disabilities with mathematics, with biology, with a specific language. I cannot read well. I cannot read English. I'm not a good reader of English, right? I cannot write. These are all learning and clustered around learning and mental activity. I cannot write and you want to be an author, you can't continue that belief. Right? अगर तुम्हारे life में, so the list is endless. I cannot swim, I cannot drive, I cannot enjoy reading, I cannot play sports, I cannot do physical activity beyond a point, I cannot concentrate, I cannot paint, I cannot play a musical instrument, I cannot play chess, I cannot compete with the best of my generation, I cannot exercise, I cannot stop smoking, I cannot live without soft drinks, I cannot write well, I cannot curb my sugar intake, I cannot live without my favorite foods, I cannot overcome my habits. Each of these I cannots is hurting you. I cannot get up early, I cannot keep awake late. Each of this is hurting you in your life. And the more it allows to hurt you, the more you are underperforming in your life. So this list is endless. And then apart from this list that I have given you, you will also need to, when you pick up a challenge, you will also need to look at the challenge specific limiting beliefs that you have. So a lot of times you'll have a lot of challenge specific limiting beliefs. So I was giving that example the other day कि अगर मेरे को माउंट एवरेस्ट चढ़ने का चैलेंज उठाता हूँ मैं कि I want to climb Mount Everest. If I pick up this challenge of I want to climb Mount Everest, and I have a belief in my mind that I cannot climb mountains. I have a belief in my mind that I cannot climb mountains. फ्लो स्टेट में भी बताऊंगा मैं. फ्लो स्टेट लर्निंग टू लर्न में नहीं आता उतना, वो थोड़ा सा एक्शन में आता है. तो आई विल डू अ फॉलो अप कोर्स ऑन दिस, उस पर आई विल टॉक अबाउट इट. तो just keep this thing, and as I was telling you yesterday, just keep the shout out to just spread the word about this course. I would love a few hundred people to come in and watch this, because what I'm giving you I believe is very valuable. And my life objective or philosophy always has been, even when I wrote my quants book or my cat books, I started doing something only when I thought that I can give something to someone. So only when I feel that I have something positive and something strong will I talk about this. So as I said, you pick up a challenge. I want to climb Mount Everest, and you have I cannot climb mountains. So I cannot climb mountains. I am not good at climbing mountains. ये belief किसी normal person के life में अगर है तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. He or she can live this life. I can be perfectly successful in my life and have this belief embedded in my head throughout my life. I might become a CEO of Microsoft, but I still have this belief in my head. No issues. It does not hurt me. But if my challenge is this, and inside my challenge, and I look at the beliefs I require to be able to overcome that challenge, and this is a belief that cannot remain, तो मेरे को इसको चेंज करना पड़ेगा. सो उसको तुमको चैलेंज स्पेसिफिक लिमिटिंग बिलीव्स भी करना पड़ेगा. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैथ्स नहीं आता है, कैट अगर उठा रहे हो, मैथ्स नहीं आता है, तो यू नो दैट यू आर इन ट्रबल, बिकॉज 1 घंटे इनसाइड द एग्जाम तुमको मैथ्स ही करना पड़ेगा. तो तुम्हारा लिमिटिंग बिलीफ है मैथ्स पे. लेकिन अगर तुम कैट नहीं कर रहे हो, तुम कोई लिबरल आर्ट्स का कोर्स करने वाले हो, एंड तुम किसी जर्नलिज्म टाइप के कोर्स में जाके जर्नलिस्ट बनना चाह रहे हो, तो यू कैन लिव योर लाइफ विदाउट नोइंग मैथ्स. कोई दिक्कत नहीं. उतना तुमको वो नहीं होगा. Yeah, the mountain man is another amazing story. Look at the perseverance of that guy. 2 decades plus. People were saying that he was crazy, but he did not listen to that. And these are things we should learn from. Right? So I hope you guys enjoyed the session today. And I guess after a slightly sedate start on the second session, now my course has actually picked up speed in terms of giving you very concrete things. And I hope you are getting that from my side. And I have another session that I need to head on to. I am meeting all my students of MindWorks in the next 10 minutes. So by the way, some of you have been asking us, yes, we have the MindWorks course. The MindWorks course is available for CAT, so you can enroll for that. And if you need to, those of you specifically for CAT, and we are looking at trying to get more learning programs for specifically for school kids, etc., from the Mindworks banner, and so that is available. So if in case anybody wants to this thing, and we're also going to come up. A lot of people have been asking me to do something for banking and SSC aspirants and civil services aspirants. So I'll be coming up with a general aptitude program also very soon on this thing. And for any queries, you can just comment on this video, and last thing, spread the word. Just spread the word about this course, and that's all I want from you. Thank you so much. Krishna says, sir, I have a question. If the number of viewers does not increase, would you get demotivated? As an important question, I want to answer that. I have taken sessions, my physical sessions I have taken with my maximum session has been with 5,000 people at one auditorium. And the opposite side is I have also taken session with 3 people. A large event across in a city, and 3 people turned up, and 5,000 people turned up. So these are marketing challenges that you have when you are pushing your public speaking agendas, etc. And one thing that I always this thing. So while you do get fired up with 5,000 people, when you find a session with 3 people, I remember my publishers had arranged a tour for me. और मेरे को same trip में I went to Kerala, and then I went to Bangalore, and then I went to Sikkim. Sikkim it was the government of Sikkim, and there was a group of 5,000 students whom I was talking to. And within that week, I was in Bangalore in a bookshop where they had arranged an interaction with readers, and 3 people turned up for one of the 4 sessions that they had kept. They had kept 4 sessions assuming कि इतने लोग आ जाएंगे. तो एक सेशन में 3 ही लोग आए थे, एक में बाकी में 30 40 थे, लेकिन एक सेशन में 3 ही आए थे. तो what as a public speaker, what you realize is that and what you make a commitment to yourself very very early in life is that even if I'm speaking to one person, even if I'm speaking to only one person, that person who's come to my session has invested time for me, and it is my responsibility to respect that fact and respect the time that person has invested. So I'm okay with even 10 people doing this course. I don't have an issue. It does not demotivate me, and my motivation is not driven by the numbers. It's driven mostly by my own internal locus, and I'm very internally driven. It doesn't matter to me. I'm able to take all kinds of negatives from the world, right? So I hope I've answered your question. Krishna wants me to do VRC DILR for CAT also. I'll do something in CAT. ये course CAT के बारे में नहीं है. Sorry, I'm not talking too much about CAT. Some of you are asking me questions. I'll do something subsequently once I finish this course. Right? Keep watching this space, and do pick up this thing. Do spread the word around, and do subscribe to the bell icon. You'll know when I'm live, and a lot of goodies are coming up for you on the Mindworks channel. So keep tuned. I'm not the only person who's going to be live here. There are going to be other people also. Chalo. So bye everyone. Thank you so much. My students are waiting now for me, and would love to interact with you again tomorrow. Chalo. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Bye bye.